Okay, I had to redo this one because I don't want to take up a half an hour of your time to tell you a 10-minute story. The third installment of my novel. If you want to go back and look at the first two, you can. So, the third novel goes back to the origins of the hero of the story, of who he is, where he came from. Thing is that there is no explanation as to who he is or where he came from because he was abducted when he was an infant. He was abducted and his real family was murdered. They'll never find out who they are. He was abducted by Nazis who had come to America and laid low. And it goes about explaining what happened in his childhood. Early on, one of the stories, he has siblings, or people who he thinks are his siblings, but they're not. And as a very young kid, he discovers that one of his siblings, who had just started going to school on the bus, had for some reason been targeted by this kid who would come over. He would get off the bus at the stop with our hero's sibling, and a guy would show up in a car and pull up in the driveway, okay, and oversee the beating of our hero's sibling by this slightly older kid. Okay, and the parents of our hero don't want to do anything about it. They don't really see any problem with it, which kind of blows the mind of our hero here, and he says, well, I'll do something about it. And he goes out and he tries to stop the kid from beating up his sibling, and the kid turns on him and beats him up pretty badly. But that only started a war. So our hero gets a trench tool, and you find, a little shovel that you dig a trench with, like an army issue, it screws, you fold it. He puts it down the back of his pants when the kid comes over to beat up his sibling again. And this time, he's going to kill his sibling. Like this kid is stomping on his sibling's head, or who he thinks is his sibling. So he goes out, our hero goes out and goes, crying, stop, don't do it. Don't do it. He goes, you're going to have to watch. And as soon as the kid turned around to continue stomping on the other kid's head, our hero pulls out his trench tool and brains him with it. Now, the guy who's in the car, upset now. He goes from rooting on this scumbag kid to, now you're going to get it, right? So what happens is the kid who came over to beat up our hero's sibling is the grandson of the mafia boss of the area. Now this mob boss goes about, comes over, right? It's like, okay, now it's a big deal. And they take the kid, our hero, and they bury him alive. Okay? But the kid crawls out. Our hero crawls out. So after that, it's like, okay, he escaped being buried alive. So now the mob boss wants to talk to him. So he invites the kid, and who's supposed to be the kid's dad, to talk to him about it, right? Now the mob boss is playing tough guy. And he opens up, not only has he brought our hero and his supposed dad to this sit down where he's going to kill both of them and enjoy it, he's also abducted the grandparents and thinks that he has them killed in the other room. But they're faking it. There's this thing that in this novel about how the Nazis have secrets of the human condition that nobody else has. Through all of their concentration camp things and their occult practices especially, they gained knowledge about the human body that nobody else had. So when the mob boss opens up the door to the bedroom to show our hero, who's a young kid, his dead grandparents, or who he thinks are his grandparents, he goes, no, and they get up, okay? They're supposed to be dead, but they get up. And the mob boss is like, what's going on, right? And they get up and they leave, and nobody knows what to do, because now the tables have been turned. It's revealed that the people that this mob boss is dealing with, they're not just normal people. They're not everyday folks. They're Nazis from World War II. So they sit the mob boss down with the kid and the kid's dad. The kid's dad brings out the mob boss's grandson, who's not dead. What they did to his grandson was they took a candlestick, okay, which is like with a three-pronged candlestick, okay, and they had discovered a way. It was a curse that they can put on, like a physical curse, to where they shove it into your head, and it's in your brain, okay, like it goes up, the middle part goes right up here, okay, and like your eyeballs will end up resting on the top, on the ones on the outside, you know, your eyeballs will be right here, and almost like your mouth will be in the middle one, and it's shoved up there, and it's one of the worst things that a human being can go through, that the Nazis could discover. Well, the mob boss doesn't know. He realizes that that's his grandson, and starts crying. He cries blood, and they go about. So now they destroy this mob boss. They kill everybody who's with him in the room, so that he's the only one who knows any of this is going on, and then they control him with that knowledge through his grandson, through all of this. Like, he can't do a jack about any of this. Now, I guess, okay, I don't want to skip ahead or anything. So these Nazis go through life using our hero of the story to just kill and take blame. You know, they put him in that fugue state, that kind of disconnected from reality. I don't know what you'd call it, but he's disassociated, right? And that's when they reveal themselves, because they can reveal themselves to him as who they really are while he's in that state, because he'll only be able to remember fragments of it. But they go about destroying everyone they come across, every institution, from mob bosses to police forces to generals in the military to politicians, okay, to terrorists, to dictators, and nobody knows it, okay? Nobody could ever look at them because of how they went about it and say, yeah, they're responsible. At best, they can only point at the hero of our story, the kid. They can only point at him, that he did something. He's responsible for it. So there's this constant thing that happens to where people go after the hero of the story. but they're never really successful because his quote-unquote family are not normal people that are easy to be pushed around. They appear to be, but they're not. They appear to be under the yoke and under the control of some real bad mofo, you know, who's too bad for them, and only to realize way too late that they've lost everything. Like, their loved ones are all dead. They're alone. They have no one around who would ever believe them, and then they die. Or you can come at it from somebody who's bad. Maybe somebody gets wind that, hey, these people aren't who they say they are, or they interact with them through crime somehow, okay? And they get played. Like, they get, like, the proclivity for criminals to commit crime is there, so they're manipulated that way, into doing things like not getting all the information as to why they're doing what they're doing, or even what they're doing, only to realize that they've set up their own demise. They've ruined their gang, or they've ruined their outfit, or their company, or whatever it is. They're totally ruined and controlled, and everything has been taken from them by these people. So there's that, and this goes on and on and on till you realize that everything had been set up by these Nazi folks. Now, this is a fake story, okay? This is all made up. Until it gets to the point where they have ruined our hero's reputation so much that everyone hates him and has been trying to hurt him and humiliate him or do the most negative things to him that they can for his entire life. Only to find out near the end of the novel that he's the only one that can help them. And it's kind of like, people start to realize, hey, it's not the hero of the story, it's not that guy, it's the people that have been around him, like his fake family. They're the ones who've been pulling all these strings. And nobody can do anything to them except the hero of the story. But they run into a problem because it's been so long of everybody treating our hero like shit. He doesn't care about them anymore. To the point where they bring back, like, they've had this mob boss under their thumb for 30 years. They've had his grandson in this cursed state with a candlestick, who can't die for some reason. Like, you won't die when it happens, but you'll just be in the most kind of pain you can be in. So they say, okay, this can all end. Like, I guess, we don't need you anymore, mob boss. But so, the only thing you have to do to get out of all this is you have to get forgiveness from our hero of the story. You have to approach him, but only when he's in his disassociated state, and get forgiveness, okay? So this mob boss comes along, and the hero can't remember who he is. The mob boss, who's he? Not important to our hero. Well, the mob boss is crying, like, please, the only way that I can get out of this, like, I'm sorry, you've got to take this Ferrari. Like, that's how they set it up. Like, you have to get him to accept this Ferrari from you, or it's never going to end. Of course, the hero doesn't want the Ferrari. He doesn't want money, he doesn't want women, he doesn't want a Ferrari, he doesn't want fame or a nice position somewhere. He doesn't want anything anymore. So it's impossible. So they bring out, to finish the mob boss part of the story, they bring out the mob boss's grandson, who's got this candlestick still stuck in him and only wants to die now. And the mob boss, they take the candlestick out of the grandson, who dies, and they shove it in the mob boss, who's now going to have to go through that, probably for the rest of time. So there's that, but you have society being affected so badly by this small group of people who've been able to deceive everybody, having nowhere to turn. Like there's no authority, there's nobody that can do anything. But possibly our hero. But is he gonna? You know? It's like, what incentive would a person have to help anybody when everybody has just shit and spit on him and beat him up and kicked him and stolen his stuff and humiliated him and catfished him on the internet and made fun of him? But so you go through this kind of thing where it's kind of like a commentary on human nature. Where people are willing to, in order to advance themselves, throw anybody under the bus. You know, a lot of people don't even realize that the hero of the story and these people are really even connected. And they all, you know, they always use the hero, like go after him because he's a known to them. Like they can manipulate the people, anybody in the world, through the hero of the story, through the guy. Right? They put him out there, and then they can come back around and when it finally realizes, like, wait, you're his dad, like you're related, like, you know, and then this starts to dawn on people, oh my God, I've just destroyed myself and everything I loved for nothing, because I'm not going to get what I thought I was going to get. Now I'm going to be destroyed. So, you know, there's a few people who are trying to move around the edges and trying to make things right. But are they going to be able to? Are they going to be able to break the hero out of his disassociated state? Are they going to be able to find anything to offer to our hero anywhere that he'll care about enough? I don't know. So yeah, but it's kind of a culture or commentary on the culture, because I've seen a lot of things like, hey, anything for money, be a little criminal, you know, don't cooperate with anybody. It's all about you and what you can get and how easily manipulated everybody is who thinks like that. Yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna stop right there.